To introduce you. So I'm up here in St. Paul with Genulescu and some municipal officials, and we've already made an announcement about some local funding here for $1.2 million and 28 towers and associated equipment. This is the opportunity we've been waiting for to speak with you. But before I do that, I want to also welcome the people who are also online. For example, we have some folks in Hannah. Good morning.
Good morning.
I know you're there. So I'm just going to ask Minister Bhullar if he will give us some comments, and then we'll move along with some additional discussion afterwards. So, Minister Bhullar.
Perfect. Well, thanks very much, Verlyn, and a good morning to my legislative mom, Genulescu. It's always a pleasure. And ladies and Hannah, good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, this is quite an exciting day and moment for Verlyn and myself, because we started out a couple years ago now. The Premier gave us a pretty strong mandate to make sure 98% of Albertans had access, and we've been working on that, and this is an exciting day. So I'm going to focus my remarks on technology and innovation, because that's a big piece of what we've been focusing on. Earlier this week, on Wednesday, I made an announcement about something pretty simple, about allowing our surplus sales activities to go online. And so some may think, well, that's just the creation of a website. No, that's way more than that. What that is it's innovating the way government does business. So instead of government meeting the need of growth demands by acquiring more warehouse space or getting more transportation capacity, we're thinking differently and coming up with innovative solutions. So going online means that you have products in Hannah that may be surplus. Well, they don't need to be brought to Calgary or Edmonton to sell them in an auction here. You can take pictures, stick it online, and sell it from where it is. And so that innovation is the key to what is driving our activities, is find better ways to do stuff. And to think that technology is changing so much of where we are and what we're doing, and to think that there were some folks in remote areas that didn't have access to that technology, and now through a lot of our efforts, we've been able to help that happen, help make that happen. So that's a really exciting piece. So now someone living in high level, for example, who has access to high-speed internet access, will later next year be able to access an online portal for government services where they can get information relating to themselves, whether it be a high school transcript or whether it be getting a fishing license. This is one portal, one shop where they can start accessing their government on their timelines. So it doesn't matter if they want to log in and get government information or a government permit at midnight, because that's when the kids are done hockey and they put them to bed, and after that, that's when mom finally gets the chance to do what she needs to do. That's it. Government needs to be responsible to mom and on mom's timelines. So technology is a key way that we can help make that happen. So I'm super excited about that. We started out with a SuperNet, which was built to more than 4,200 government, learning, health, library, municipal service locations across the province. More than 400 of them are in the health sector, 2,000 in the learning sector, 300 libraries, 1,300 government facilities, and 220 municipal service locations. This network comprises more than 15,000 kilometers of fiber, optic, and wireless infrastructure, currently reaching 27 urban and 402 rural communities across Alberta. This infrastructure enables residential and commercial internet service through ISPs to communities where service previously did not exist. This is a strong backbone, and without this backbone, virtually our entire province would not have access to things like these online sites. And we would not be able to do this video conferencing that we're doing right now. So reliable high-speed internet is essential to families. I mean, whether you're accessing government services or you want to jump on Netflix or share and connect with your families on Facebook, as Genya is a big fan of doing. She's taking a picture of me as I speak. Wow. These are essential pieces. These are essential ways for people to connect. And so I'm so proud to announce the successful completion of our target. We have in fact surpassed it. Our target was to have 98% of Alberta families having access to high-speed internet services. And now I'm so pleased that we're able to announce that 98.3% of Albertans now have access to high-speed internet. 98.3%. We are one of the most connected jurisdictions in Canada with a strong backbone of the SuperNet, but really creative, innovative solutions throughout the province, whether it be local ISPs and municipalities or satellite solutions. So we're proud to have been innovative in how we got here. We really, as I said, we leverage different solutions that are out there. And I can't stress enough, this isn't about just technology. This is about how technology affects people's lives, how it makes their life better. It allows them to connect with people, allows them to learn, it allows them to access government services. This is a quality of life piece for Albertans. And so I'm incredibly proud of this. I'm incredibly thankful for the work with Verlyn, Olson and our rural colleagues. And I'm so pleased that our partners like the Gas Co-ops, Association of Municipal Districts and Counties, the AUMA, industry leaders, and of course strong rural MLAs like Genya helped us pinpoint gaps in our services, so we were able to address this, and today we've closed those gaps. But friends, we're continuously and always going to make sure that we continuously grow and make things better. But it's a great celebration when you've surpassed 98% of Albertans having access to high-speed internet services. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Manmeet. And obviously I agree with everything that you said, and would just like to even reinforce maybe a few points. In rural Alberta, jobs are important, the economy is important, you've got to have a reason to live in rural Alberta, and I think what this infrastructure does for us is gives people an opportunity to reach anywhere in the world. And I think there's and I was actually telling somebody earlier that we focus on a number of core values, core things that we want to be doing when we talk about building Alberta. Things like living within our means, obviously, and supporting families and communities, but also developing markets. And that's something that my department's very involved in. And a lot of times I think that we as Albertans think about, when we think about international markets, we think about that as something only big companies in big cities do. And our colleague Cal Dallas, our Minister of International Intergovernmental Affairs, has done a lot of work in rural Alberta and is continuing to do that work, explaining to people that we have a network within our government of offices around the world, potential markets around the world, and you don't have to live in a big urban center to reach those markets. Because of the capacity we have in places like St. Paul and Hanna and many other places now, 98.3% of the province, people where they live and where they work can access markets to sell things that are grown and produced in rural Alberta. It's got a massive importance for the health of communities in rural Alberta. But it's not just about business, as important as that is. It's also about the ability to get a university degree from rural Alberta by studying online. And of course, things like keeping in touch with your family and your loved ones. So that's what this initiative is all about. And we couldn't be more proud to have reached this threshold. I think for some people who have, and always have, in recent time anyway, have always had access to high-speed internet, maybe we've taken it for granted a little bit, but if you could just imagine all of a sudden not having access to email, access to the internet, so you can't just Google it or just go find an app for it. I can kind of envision people breaking out in hives and becoming very stressed out. And so this is kind of an equalizer for rural Alberta in that it makes all of that access possible. I know there's also a line of thought that says really face-to-face meetings are the best. And there is huge value in face-to-face meetings. I'm really glad I was able to drive out here today and meet these folks face-to-face. Manmeet, it would have been a lot tougher trip for you to get up here today. And so this kind of technology allows us to have those face-to-face meetings through technology. So I was in Stettler in September, and actually the Premier was with me, and we made an announcement about some money for East Central Alberta for the special areas. And that's another area that's remote. The communities are small and they're spread far apart. And having this kind of capacity is of great benefit to them as well. And I had the great pleasure of getting to meet some people with a group that calls themselves Return to Rural. And we're very fortunate to have some of those people joining us today from Hannah, and I'd like to introduce them. So I'm not exactly sure how this works, if we can make Manmeet small and the ladies large.
Well, I don't know, Verlyn. I try to lose weight, but I don't know if it's going to happen that quick.
Okay, well, we'll maybe just, whatever happens, happens. But I do want to introduce these ladies, and forgive me, ladies, if I mispronounce any of your names, but we have with us Christy Dick, Andrea Thornton, Wanda Diakow, Tricia Swell, and Lorraine Pearson. And I would like to invite them to say a few words, tell us how this technology impacts them in the area that they're living in. Ladies.
Well, thank you so much for having us, and we can't tell you what an impact that the internet has on our world. So in Alberta's special area, we have embraced high-speed internet as a key driver in reimagining our communities, and we've created the Return to Rural project. Return to Rural is built on the idea that by blending technology and community, anyone can live a dream life in rural. Connectivity is key to this. It's helping young people return to map out a new future in the new rural frontier. We see a lot of young people choosing rural life that includes working remotely, running online businesses, connecting to global markets, marketing crops worldwide, building a new version of volunteerism, and learning on demand. High-speed internet access helps ensure rural communities have the basic tools needed to redefine rural Alberta. Without this, we cannot redefine our world. We've made a commitment to invite young people and entrepreneurs to our communities, and technology is so key to this. And in fact, Lorraine Pearson is here with us today. She's someone who has returned to rural and created a dream life, and she's going to just share a few bits of information about that.
All right. Hi, Lorraine Pearson. I grew up in Special Area 2, and I remember a day where I could heat up and make a bowl of Ichiban while waiting for a page to load on dial-up internet. So now I can fast forward and say that I'm able to Skype family near and far. I have family in Norway I speak to on a regular basis. And without technology and SuperNet, we wouldn't be able to feel so close and see each other with miles between us. So my journey back home began after I completed my degree at University of Alberta, Augustana. And through Alberta Agriculture and Rural Development, I was partnered with Return to Rural for an internship. And it became apparent to me that there's lots of opportunities available for people, young and old, especially in rural areas, now that technology is so far advanced. So I began my own social media-based business, and I can reach international markets from my own home, which is pretty spectacular. So as an intern for Return to Rural, we put on video conference courses right here at the Hannah Learning Center, which is excellent because they offer lifelong learning, but through connectivity, that is possible. And I also work for the Rural Alberta Business Center here in Hannah. There's 8 centers in Alberta, which allows me to utilize my degree and my knowledge working with Return to Rural to assist entrepreneurs and small businesses in successfully running their businesses and connecting them to the right resources. And to my observation, there's been a huge influx in entrepreneurship over the last 5 years, I think, due to technology and connectivity. So, without technology and connectivity, I would not have a small business or my job here and not be able to connect with my family from far away. So, I guess you could say that I can have my cake and eat it too.
Thank you very much, ladies. Lorraine, we've got a few things in common. We have Norwegian relatives. I'm of Norwegian descent as well, and I'm also an alumni of Augustana. So,
All right.
Lutefisk Lefsa Tuxkaraha. So this is just a very wonderful example of what this technology is doing for us, and I think we can all be very proud of it. And again, I want to stress that this is a partnership between local communities, local municipal governments, and our government. It is not something which is being kind of imposed by the provincial government. The local municipalities know where the needs are, they know what the solutions are, and we're just very proud, Minister Bhullar and myself and all of our colleagues, to play a part and to be supportive. And so we look forward to seeing and hearing about great things, great stories from rural Alberta, and I, for one, certainly like to have them sent to me if anybody wants to pass them on. So with that, we also have some media here, and if there is any media or anybody would like to ask any questions, we'll try to answer them. Minister Bhullar and I have just been through a number of weeks of question periods and so on, so we're not going to be hugely disappointed if nobody fires a question at us. But feel free you can ask us, or you can ask our municipal officials here, or the ladies in Hannah. If anybody wants to ask anybody a question, please feel free.
Oh, I had a question. I'm not exactly sure who it will be directed to, but Brian McCracken with the St. Paul Journal. When can people in this area of northeastern Alberta expect to see the impacts of this project?
So perhaps that's a question. Did everybody in the south hear the question?
Yeah, we heard it.
So the question is and just to reiterate, we announced here today funding of about $1.2 million for 4 different projects, which includes 28 towers and associated equipment. And the reeve here is here, and perhaps for each municipality, the time frame may be somewhat different, but perhaps the reeve would like to take a stab at that and give us a little bit of information about how things are going here.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. My name is Steve Upham. I'm the reeve of the County of St. Paul. It is my understanding the infrastructure will be in place by the end of March, so connectivity and installation, hardware installation in homes can, I guess, commence after that date.
And in Bonnyville?
It would be the same thing. It's in the same time frames. We're using MCSnet. I don't know if you guys.
Yes, we are
Yeah,
too,
we're
yeah.
using the same contractors, so it'll be in the same time frame.
And where will we see 48 towers be built?
St. Paul, there will be 9 towers built, and some of them are located in the north part of the campus, and then there's several in the south, part
And in the MD of Bonnyville, it's actually pretty evenly spread out. We filled in a bunch of holes where it was more remote dead spots and low areas and so on, that still had a fairly large population. So it's spread out, kind of dotted all over our map.
I believe this morning we said that there was 9 towers in the MD of Bonneville and 1 shared tower. So 10.
Between St. Paul and Bonnyville?
I'm not sure who it's shared with. Probably with between St. Paul and Bonneville. That would make sense. It's the same contractor.
So how many people in total benefit then within these groups that were outlined? Or do we know that?
So, in case anybody didn't hear, the question is how many people will benefit from this technology here? I'll just say that the 4 municipalities are the County of St. Paul, Lac-La-Biche County, Municipal District of Bonnyville, and Fishing Lake Métis Settlement. So we, unfortunately, because of weather and cold, don't have representatives from 2 of the groups here today, but we do have the County of St. Paul and the MD of Bonnyville. So I don't know if we can give you a number in terms of, if you just have to look at what the populations are of those communities, and everybody who's there, I'm sure will benefit, but perhaps
I'd like to add something. When Minister Bhullar started this project, we had a map of our area that showed the dead spots. And I can remember the part north of Ardmore. There was a big, huge area north of Ardmore that had a dead spot. So these projects, speaking for the Bonnyville-Cold Lake area, is going to address those dead spots that were definitely very, very visible in the northern part of the MD of Bonnyville.
And if I can add something, I think it's very important also to consider the geography and topography of Alberta. So a lot of the communities that had high densities, so if you had 50 homes or 100 homes or 200 homes, those were a bit easier to serve. You can put up a tower, you have people that live right there. Part of our challenge in this program was to find people and connect people that live in very remote areas. So if there's less than 4 homes per square kilometer, all the internet service providers said, if there's less than 4 per 100 kilometers or 40 per 100 kilometers, that makes it economically unviable for us to put up towers and spend the money on the infrastructure. So through our program, we actually pinpointed and said, look, how do we help people in those very remote places that live far away from other homes, so you can't put up towers, it's difficult. And so we actually went through that and helped pinpoint and find a lot of that. And the great thing also is that we're finding that technology is changing so incredibly. When government steps up and just helps to leverage new technologies, it goes a long ways. Like launches of new satellites goes a long way. And I'll make one last point on this. Part of our role also is to be strong advocates for rural Albertans when it comes to Industry Canada or the CRTC. So part of what I have done and made a focus of is to ensure that when new telecom or wireless spectrum auctions take place in Ottawa, we voiced our opinion that they need to make sure that there's components involved in that require investment into rural Alberta to make sure that all the spectrum isn't taken up in urban places. We need to make sure that rural Alberta is on the table as well. And so we've been very strong advocates of that, pushing the CRTC to make sure that they take that into account. And I actually had a conversation with somebody from the CRTC just yesterday as well, saying how do how do we continue to better leverage that to make sure that private industry will also, when they're given the spectrum of, for Alberta, how do we make sure that they don't just work in the big urban centers, but they have to have a plan for rural Alberta as well. So it's pretty neat. And we're going to continue that advocacy work because technology changes regularly, and we're going to continue to push the envelope and help make sure that people have that ability to connect. I have one of my own constituents moved out of Calgary into a rural community. She's got all the connectivity in the world now in her rural community, and she doesn't need to drive to work. So, and that's the type of really positive story. People can make quality of life decisions because they have strong access regardless of where they live. So, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
I think that brings us to an end here. So thank you for everybody who participated. Thank you for the technical staff who made this happen. And again, we look forward to staying connected with each other through the internet.
And Merry Christmas to the ladies in Hannah.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks for joining us. Merry Christmas.